Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone. Welcome to a fantastic episode of the Good Leader Podcast. I am your humble host, Jared Anthony Murr. So glad to be here. And I say humble because I guess I owe you an apology.
Oh, yeah, why?
Because we said we were going to talk about Lean In, the book, maybe do an entire episode on it.
Oh, sure.
And
yeah.
It's been a few weeks and I haven't even brought it up.
You haven't, but we have option. We have time.
I'm just letting you know. I'm recognizing it as a male leader. I know last episode I talked about the Marvels and said only girls should watch it. That's not what I said, but that's what the aggregators out there, they aggregated it and misinterpreted what I said. But no, I mean, Lean In, it's a great book. And I do think we should do an entire episode on it. So, we'll
do it.
I owe you an apology.
It's okay. Maybe Jess and I'll do it. Maybe we'll really female own.
Wow. Yeah. Female only episode.
Yeah. Female only.
Wow.
We may need you to hit record, but
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Just, utility purpose.
All right. I don't know if I like where that was going, but the apology was real and it is in my show notes.
I receive it.
And we are going to do a full on lean, maybe a Lean In month. Lean In month.
Wow. Well, women's like empowerment, isn't that coming up? Why am I thinking it's March?
When is it? I don't know when that is.
I should know.
Can I give a completely candid, completely transparent moment right there? When you said that, I thought, well, Breast Cancer Awareness Month is October. Is that connected?
I don't think that's what I'm thinking.
But I know it. Is it good or bad that I thought about that? I know it.
It's good you knew it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's October, Breast Cancer Awareness
Month.
Yeah.
March. It is March. Wow.
Women's History Month. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, Women's History Month. Yeah. It's all kinds of things on social media, but it is March. I'm impressed with the deep knowings of my brain.
Well, you know what? So maybe that. Okay, I'll tell you what. We're at least going to do the Lean In episode in March. How about that?
It's coming
up.
How
many more we get? Who
Look
knows?
out for it, folks.
Look out. We got to chalk that up. All right. Anj, you said in the pre-show that you had a hot take. So new segment, hot take. I'm curious. I can't wait to hear the hot take.
I was inspired by our last episode. I was listening back to it, and I was like, wow, I think I have a hot take out of this. Could have brought it up then, but it didn't come to me.
Okay. All right.
Hilarious because we run a leadership development company. If you don't know us, we have 7 core values. One is pick up chairs, which is essentially related to servant leadership. Mm-hmm. I am not a fan of servant leadership. Like I am not the world's biggest advocate of it. Okay. And so I can see your head kind of turning like, maybe I should check this out before we started the pod.
I have a whole quote about servant leadership that I'm very proud.
I know.
My quote is leadership without servanthood is purely manipulation.
Yeah, I know. It's good.
And I think I stand by that.
It's good. So I have to pare it down. A hot take. I wanted to come in strong with a hot take.
I'm
like my hot take overall is
your hot take is you don't like servant leadership?
I do not like the way that we use the term. That's more what I would say. So I'll explain.
Okay. All right. That's
because
less spicy.
I don't like if you're saying be a servant leader. I actually don't blink twice at that for you.
Okay.
Because I know how you define that, what you mean by that, blah, 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 blah. But there's so many books written about it. It's a very cutesy thing to say. Yeah. Even in cohorts sometimes, if I say servant leadership, people's mind go to the action of doing something, right? Like what am I doing behind the scenes?
Like picking up chairs.
Like literally picking up chairs after an event.
Which I do think is an element of it. Okay,
it
you guys are going to make me mad over here, all right? That was a little snide.
Wait, I haven't agreed or disagreed
I stand by
yet.
picking up chairs. You should. If someone, all right, you're going to fire me up. If you're standing in a room, this is why we have pickup chairs as a core value, because I saw this all the time when I was on church staff. And I see it today. I see it every stinking week, by the way, at New Community. I'm calling all of my fellow parishioners out. Everyone at New Community Church. We have one big room. And so it serves as the youth room on Wednesday night. So after service on Sunday morning, there's a call from the stage, some usually pastoral staff, maybe volunteer, but someone says, hey, if you can help us pick up chairs, literally we say, if you can help us pick up chairs, we're going to stack them up and then set it up for youth on Wednesday night. I get so irritated that people standing
walk
around.
Out the door.
Walking out the door, I will accept.
Okay.
Because I got to go to grandma's house. We have a birthday party. If you walk out the door, fine with me. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to, I actually literally don't judge that because I get it. Maybe you can't. Because the call is, if you can help us, we'd love, many hands make light work. But if you walk out the door, I assume you have something going on.
Yep.
Here's what ticks me off. When you're standing there, talking to each other while I'm moving chairs around you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's hard.
Either pick up chairs or either one. Now, are you having? Is this an altar call? Are you praying for each other? Typically, no. By the way, no. Oh, hey man, what's up, bro? Yeah, we're just BSing here. All these people around. We just were in church. All right. Jesus would be picking up a chair with me or feeding 5,000. So either go feed 5,000 or get your hands on a chair. So I am a fan of servant leadership. Prove me wrong.
Okay.
I'm
ready
not.
for this.
Okay, I think you're going to appreciate where I'm going with this. I should have called this like Fire Jared Up.
Well, you did it. Congratulations.
Fire Jared Up segment, which I knew this would. That's why I couldn't bring it up on the last podcast because I was like, we are going to derail in a way we've never derailed.
Sorry,
before.
I did.
He is
derail
going to
just there.
forget
I
his
just did.
whole.
I don't even know.
This is the whole
He's going to
podcast.
forget
I
his
derailed.
whole.
I just
thing.
derailed.
Yeah. This
just
may be the
derailed.
whole topic of our whole podcast
The
at this
woes
point.
of servant leadership.
The woes of servant leadership. Okay, so this is what I really mean though. Is I think if people actually understood the weight of real servant leadership,
I like
they
where
would
you're going
not be
here.
so quick to say I'm a servant leader.
Okay, you're winning me over.
I
Keep
know.
talking.
I
You're
knew
winning
I
me back.
would.
Keep
I was
talking.
like, you
I
just
do
got to
like
give me a
that.
second.
Her hot take was actually clickbait, is what it was.
It was.
Well, she
It
worked.
was.
Yeah.
It
I clicked
was.
it. Yeah. I clicked it. I subscribed, and I gave my credit card number. All right.
It was really like, I'm going to really get him going. Because if I really get you going, then you're going to really come back and be fired up again in a positive way. Okay, so this is what I mean, though. When we say servant leadership, yes, it is the actions. Pick up the trash. I'm not going to ask anyone to do something I wouldn't do. I also have feelings about that statement, but I'll save that for a different hot take later on. When I think of servant leadership, this is what I mean. On the last podcast, I shared about two leaders who, honestly, I didn't know it at the time, but really did change the trajectory of my confidence in leadership, my confidence in public speaking. I was going a way different path in life at the time. They took the time to be good leaders in that moment, set time aside, and honestly, throughout my whole college career, really developed me. No one knows their name. I never went back to them and said, thank you. Like, there was no reason. I didn't pay them to some kind of endorsement to give me, mentorship or knowledge. They were truly doing their jobs and doing their job, going the extra mile, because no one had to pull me aside after public speaking class and say, hey, you really have a gift for this, and then invite me into all these SURE meetings and then encourage me to do, these things throughout the Tulsa community. Nobody asked her to do that, but that was the mark of a good leader. And no one knows the effect, including her. That's what I think of when I think of servant leadership is if you're actually saying you're a servant leader, then you are okay not receiving the credit. And not just saying that in a cutesy way, but I am okay if Jess actually looks better than me. Mm-hmm. And even deep down, I know, how much work I put in that girl? You know all the hours and all the times. I actually haven't. She's really great. But we have obviously had to work together and I have had to lead her. A servant leader is letting her shine without me needing to make sure I'm in the center of that shine as well, right?
I love that.
That is servant leadership, but I do not think that's how we define it because I just think we hold the term too loosely. I know a lot of leaders who would say, I'm a servant leader, but they have to be at the front of everything, the focus of everything, the center of everything.
I think we attach it too much to the action, and you're saying we should attach it more to the heart.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yes, there's actions. Don't get me wrong. But to me, pick up chairs is if I can say, Sharice she is better than me, and I know it, and I mean it. So it's a heart check. No one really knows if you're actually a servant leader. I guess it's why I don't always love people hypothesizing other people in that way or themselves in that way, because I really think it's more of an internal motive. But it very much is that. If you're a servant leader, you will actually, that's where I say, if Jared's saying he's a servant leader, I don't question, that statement does not make me cringe at all. I've worked for other people who've said, I'm a servant leader, and it would make me cringe. But you actually own not just the action, but the motive, the intent, and the track record of owning that servant leadership.
Well, I appreciate that. That's very kind of you to say. I don't know if you've ever heard me say that I'm a servant leader. You probably haven't. And if I have, shame on me. Because I don't like it.
It's like saying you're humble.
It is. It's like saying you're humble. If I'm saying I'm
That's
humble,
true too.
I'm
Maybe
either
that's
making
also
jest.
why I hate it.
Well, it's also like people who are self-proclaimed apostles. I'm like, wait a minute, what? Okay, it's like who's speaking tonight? The Apostle Jared Murr. Okay, all right. Who is this guy?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying, Lim? I know
Yeah.
that fires you up. Come on, you can't like that.
Yeah, it does fire me up.
Okay,
He's got
thank
a
you.
lot.
I was
He's
gonna
got a
say
lot
that
of fire brewing
I'm
right
so
here.
That'll be a
fired
separate.
up.
I'll come on your podcast for that one.
Okay.
That fires me up. I've never been more fired
I've
up.
never been more fired up.
You are okay. You have fired me up. I don't even know if we're going to get to what I had a whole other topic that we're just going to have to do
I
another
should
day
have
because
said,
this hot
I
take
just
has
have a-
derailed me because now I've come all the way around. I am totally on your side now with the hot take.
I thought
because
so.
you're right. It was kind of clickbait.
It was.
You really like cast a bait that I could not resist. But what you're saying, I actually am thinking of two great quotes that I love, and I'd like to share them here. One of them you've probably heard if you're listening to this podcast. Another one you might not have heard. The one that you probably heard is about planting shade trees. And the true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you do not expect to sit. So that's the quote that I'm thinking of. Like that was my first, when you said that, like those people that spoke into your life, it's like, listen, I'm going to speak into this young person's life because it's the right thing to do. And because I believe in this, I will not reap benefit from this. I will probably never see any of the fruit. I will never sit under this shade tree, but I'm going to plant the tree anyway. That quote is attributed to Nelson Henderson, but I've also found that it's actually, I guess, a Greek proverb that a society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they shall never sit in.
That's the one I've heard.
Okay. Both same thing, but one's kind of a more of a modern adaptation of it. One's individual, the other's cultural, which Lim, I know you know that. Talking about culturally. When we came out after the post show last time, we talked about Pygmalion effects, even as a society, using phrases like we, this is who we are, this is what we do. So that's the heart of servant leadership. The other one is by Lao Tzu, and it's a leader is best. This is the one that you may not have heard, but I love it. A leader is best when people barely know he exists, when his work is done, and they will all say, we did it ourselves.
That's a really good one too.
Isn't that a good quote?
I love it.
Also, like, that sucks. Like, I think that's the part of everyone, like, wants to be a leader until you feel the weight of leadership. Like, I just have to own where I'm like, when even young, I mean, I'm young, don't get me wrong, but when they're like, I just want to be a leader, I just want to be like an entrepreneur, I'm not going to discredit that, but I'm like, I hope you know the pain that is going to come with that and the loneliness that's going to come with that.
That's another reason why I kind of agree with you that I don't like the term servant leadership, because a leader should be a servant. It's the essence of real leadership.
Yeah, like
right?
it should just be, if I'm saying I'm a leader, it should come hand in hand.
It's kind of redundant.
Yeah,
servant
leadership without servanthood is manipulation, some might say.
Some people. Maybe you've heard of them.
Some people. But that's actually the heart of this entire podcast. And I know we talk about a lot of different things because leadership is a broad topic. But I've even gotten some resistance externally and internally on the name of our podcast. We're the Good Leader Podcast. All right. Now I know why Anj doesn't really like it, because she's like, really, you come around to it. There was
I've
a time
always like the Good Leader. I told you to write a book on it.
Wait, I thought there was a time that you were like,
you're thinking of
somebody else. Okay, I'll take that back. I will take that back. That's just
I've always
old man
I've been
forgetting.
a fan.
Okay. Well, the reason I wanted it is because I would rather be a good leader than a known leader, a great leader, a distinguished leader, a celebrated leader, all those types of things. You have to choose the adjective you want to put in front of leader. And you can choose a lot of different adjectives and pursue a lot of different adjectives. And you can have multiple adjectives, but to me, there's a hierarchy. And if it's like, well, I want to be a good leader first. And I know that I'm sometimes a little bit too hokey with it, but the heart is exactly what you're saying. Like, well, is that person a good leader? Are they helping the people around them? Are they trying to plant shade trees? Are they trying to esteem people to a place where when the job is finished, the team will say, we did it ourselves? Even though internally, the heart also says, well, that kind of sucks. Like, I did most of that work. I am the one that set it up. I will say, if you are a good leader with good intentions, and I guess let's wrap this up here today. We don't have time to do other things. As someone who is more seasoned in leadership than you two, I will say this. If you have, hopefully I've had the right intentions. Once again, this is like, I'm a self-proclaimed servant leader, a servant above all, humble of humbles. But if I have tried, let's assume that my heart is in the right place and I am trying to be that good leader, servant leader with the intention, that feeling that you're describing on, of like, wow, that also is kind of hard. That's the weight of leadership.
Yeah.
I will say, for me at least, I feel like that also gets easier with time.
Agreed.
Like when I was younger and tried to be a good leader and put people up, and I probably didn't do it as well. That's also true. Like I think I've gotten better at serving. I think I have gotten better at putting people, esteeming people more greatly, taking less credit, taking more blame and giving more credit. Those sorts of idioms and ideas. I do hope that I've gotten better at that. But also then you start finding rewards in different things.
Yeah, it's a muscle.
It's a muscle. And you do start finding rewards in, I am actually, you know what, believe it or not, I actually am really happy that everyone thinks it is that person. Yeah. Even though I may know, I think I did most of that, but that's okay. I am actually happier with this. So I like the analogy you just gave, that it is a muscle, and servant leadership then is a muscle. And much like muscles, the more you want to show them off, the less impressive they are.
Man.
Mic drop.
That's
Hit
it.
the music. We're
That's
done.
the
Go be a
commercial.
good
That's
leader.
the end. That's a
it.
takeaway.
We're done. Have a good day, everybody. Go out there, serve others, plant shade trees. Don't sit under them. Don't whine. Don't gripe. Create a clickbait that Jared will get fired up. And by all means, if you're at church and people are picking up chairs around you, pick up a dang chair. Be a good leader.